Ushi Okushima is 97 years old. Every morning at 7 a.m., she sits on her tatami floor in Okinawa, picks up her chopsticks, and does something that would make most Americans uncomfortable. She eats her breakfast: miso soup, grilled fish, a small bowl of rice. And when her plate is still 20% full, she stops. She puts down her chopsticks. She stands up from the floor without using her hands, and she walks out to her garden. Yesterday, Ushi ate 1,640 calories. At 97, she weighs 103 pounds. That's the exact same weight she had at 30. Linda is 68. She lives in Phoenix. Yesterday, she ate 2,200 calories. She finished every bite on her plate. She's gained 42 pounds in the last 15 years. This morning, she needed 2 attempts to get up from her couch. Both women ate until they felt satisfied, but only one of them stops eating before her brain catches up to her stomach. In the next 20 minutes, you're going to learn the exact rule that keeps Okinawans at the same weight for 70 years, without counting a single calorie. You'll see why your brain is lying to you about when you're full, and I'll show you the 3-tier system you can start using at your next meal. At the end, I'll tell you about the blood marker that separates centenarians from everyone else, and it has nothing to do with genetics. Here's what you've been told. If you want to lose weight after 60, you need to eat less and move more. Count your calories, track your macros, weigh your portions. That's backwards. Okinawans live longer than almost anyone on Earth, and they've never counted a calorie in their lives. They don't weigh food. They don't use apps. They don't know how many grams of protein they ate today. What they do instead is this. They eat until they're 80% full. Then they stop. And they wait. The reason this works, and the reason calorie counting doesn't, comes down to a 20-minute delay between your stomach and your brain. Your stomach knows it's full in real time, but your brain takes 15 to 20 minutes to get the message. If you eat until you feel 100% full, you've already overshot by 200 to 400 calories. Do that 3 times a day for 20 years, and you gain 40 pounds. In a few minutes, I'll show you exactly how this delay sabotages you. Then I'll walk you through the 300-year-old phrase Okinawans say before every meal, and why it rewires your relationship with food. And at minute 14, you'll see the protocol that works even if you eat at restaurants, even if you're traveling, even if you failed every diet you've tried. Here's how this breaks down. First, I'm going to explain the neurological trap that makes you overeat without realizing it. Second, I'll give you the exact Hara Hachi Bu system, the 80% rule, and show you why it creates an 11% calorie deficit without hunger. Third, I'll reveal the longevity biomarker that only shows up when you do this consistently for years. Let's start with why your brain is 20 minutes behind. Your stomach has stretch receptors. When you eat, these receptors detect how much food is in your stomach. They send a signal through the vagus nerve, up to your brainstem, and into your hypothalamus. That's where your brain registers fullness. The problem is this: it takes 15 to 20 minutes for that signal to arrive. Harvard Medical School confirmed this. It takes our brain about 15 to 20 minutes to realize that our stomachs are full. But most people don't wait. They eat until they feel full. By the time the brain catches up, they've eaten 15 minutes worth of extra food. Here's the math. Let's say you sit down for dinner. You eat fast. In 10 minutes, you finish your plate. You feel satisfied, so you stop. But your brain hasn't registered fullness yet. So 15 minutes later, when your brain finally gets the signal, you've already consumed 200 to 400 extra calories. Now multiply that. 3 meals a day, 200 calories per meal. That's 600 extra calories a day. Over a year, that's 219,000 calories. That's 62 pounds of potential weight gain. This isn't your fault. This is evolution. 10,000 years ago, food was scarce. If you found a dead animal or a fruiting tree, you ate as much as you could, as fast as you could, because you didn't know when the next meal was coming. Eating fast and eating a lot kept you alive during famines. But now, Food is everywhere. Restaurants, vending machines, drive-thrus, delivery apps. The evolutionary advantage became a trap. You're still eating like there's a famine coming, but the famine never comes. The average American eats a meal in 11 minutes. In traditional Okinawa, meals take 45 minutes. They eat slowly. They talk. They put their chopsticks down between bites. By the time they finish eating, their brain has already caught up. Here's what happens when you eat until you're 100% full. You sit down. You eat for 10 minutes. You clean your plate. You feel satisfied. You get up. 25 minutes later, your brain registers that you're full. But by then, you've already eaten 15 minutes past the point where you should have stopped. Okinawans don't do this. They stop at 80%. They leave food on the plate. And they wait. Right now, I want you to try something. Put your hand on your stomach. Press gently. That's where your stretch receptors are. When you eat your next meal, halfway through, stop. Put your fork down. Press your stomach again. Ask yourself, am I 80% full? If the answer is yes, stop eating. Stand up. Walk around for 15 minutes. Then come back. I guarantee you won't be hungry. That's the test. You can do it at your next meal. But here's the thing. This only works if you know the exact rule Okinawans follow. It's not just about stopping at 80%. It's about the ritual they use to remind themselves. That's what we're covering next. The rule is called
Hara Hachibu.
In Japanese, that's Faro Bachfunme. The literal translation is belly 8 parts out of 10 full. This phrase comes from a book written in 1713 by Ikiken Kaibara, a samurai philosopher. The book is called Yojokun, Life Lessons from a Samurai. Yojo means self-healing ability. The idea that your body can heal itself if you don't overload it. Here's how Hara Hachibu works in practice. Step 1. Before you start eating, you say the phrase out loud.
Hara Hachibu.
It's a reminder. It's a pre-meal ritual. It tells your brain, I'm going to stop before I feel completely full. Step 2. You eat slowly. No TV, no phone. You sit at a table. You focus on your food. You chew thoroughly. You put your chopsticks down between bites. Step 3. Halfway through the meal, you check in. You ask yourself, am I 80% full? If the answer is yes, you stop. You leave food on the plate. It doesn't matter how much is left. You stop. Step 4. You wait 15 to 20 minutes. You don't eat anything else. You don't snack. You get up. You walk. You talk to someone. You do something other than eating. Step 5. After 15 minutes, your brain catches up. The stretch receptors in your stomach have sent the signal. Your hypothalamus registers fullness. And here's the key. You don't feel hungry anymore. You feel satisfied. You feel comfortable. You don't feel stuffed. Think of it like this. Imagine you're watching a movie on a slow internet connection. The video is buffering. If you keep hitting play before the buffer catches up, the video stutters. But if you pause at 80% and let the buffer load, the video plays smoothly. That's what Hara Hachibu does. It pauses your eating so your brain can catch up to your stomach. Now here's the science. In 2007, researchers Bradley Wilcox and Craig Wilcox published a study in the Annals of the New York Academy of Sciences. They studied traditional Okinawans. They found that Okinawans consumed an average of 1,785 calories per day. Their caloric requirement, based on age, weight, and activity level, was 2,003 calories per day. That's a deficit of 218 calories per day. That's an 11% caloric restriction. But here's what's shocking. They weren't hungry. They didn't feel deprived. They ate until they felt satisfied. They just stopped at 80% instead of 100%. The result? At age 30, the average Okinawan had a BMI of 21.2. At age 75, their BMI was 22 to 23. They gained almost no weight over 45 years. Compare that to the average American, who gains 25 to 40 pounds between age 30 and 75. You've been told that caloric restriction makes you hungry all the time. That's what happens when you count calories. You're constantly thinking about food. You're tracking, you're measuring, you're restricting. Your brain perceives scarcity, so it increases hunger signals. Okinawans never count calories. They eat until they're satisfied. Their bodies are doing something your body forgot how to do. They're listening to satiety signals in real time. But here's the problem. If you grew up in the West, your satiety system is broken. And I'm about to show you why. In 1960, the average dinner plate in America was 9 inches across. That's 23 centimeters. Today, the average dinner plate is 11 to 12 inches. That's 28 to 30 centimeters. The surface area increased by 36%. That means you're eating 36% more food per normal portion. And you don't even realize it. Restaurant portions doubled in the last 20 years. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute documented this. The average restaurant entree is now 2 to 3 times the USDA standard serving size. And here's the kicker. You eat what's on the plate. When the plate is bigger, you eat more. When the portion is larger, you finish it. In Okinawa, they use 23-centimeter plates. That's the same size Americans used in 1960. They serve food in the kitchen. They don't bring serving dishes to the table. Once the plate is in front of you, that's your portion. And they stop at 80%. Now here's the cultural trap. If you're over 60, you were raised with a specific message. Finish your food. Clean your plate. There are starving children in Africa. Leaving food on your plate was wasteful. It was disrespectful. That programming is still active. You feel guilty when you leave food on your plate. But here's what Okinawans were taught. Overeating is disrespectful. Disrespectful to your body. Your body has a limit. If you exceed that limit, you're harming yourself. The data backs this up. The CDC found that 35% of adults aged 65 and over in the United States are obese. In Okinawa, obesity rates are 3 to 4%. Let that sink in. 35% versus 3%. What's driving this? Restaurant dependency. In 1977, adults over 60 got 5.3% of their calories from restaurants. By 1996, that number jumped to 13.9%. Restaurant food is positively correlated with body fatness. The correlation coefficient is 0.42. The more you eat out, the heavier you get. On top of that, snacking exploded. The average American has 6 or more eating events per day. In traditional cultures, it's 3. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. No snacks. But when you add 3 snacks to your day, you're adding 76 to 330 extra calories per day. Combine that with larger portions, and you get a double hit. Here's the most important study you need to know. Morgan Levine and Eileen Crimmins published research showing that if recent increases in obesity had not occurred, young adults would have aged 38 to 72% more slowly. Let me repeat that. If you don't gain weight as you age slower. Obesity accelerates biological aging by 2 or more years compared to people with a BMI under 25. So how do you reverse this? You can't just shrink your plate and hope it works. You need a system. A 3-tier system that adapts to your life. Tier 1 is the foundation. This is for someone who's sedentary, eats at home, and wants the minimum effective change. Here's what you do. First, say Hara Hachi out loud before every meal. Make it a ritual. Second, swap your 28-centimeter plate for a 23-centimeter plate. You can buy one at IKEA for $3. Third, set a timer on your phone for 20 minutes. Don't finish eating before the timer goes off. Fourth, halfway through your meal, check in. Ask yourself, am I 80% full? If yes, stop. Fifth, stand up. Walk around. Wait 15 minutes. If you're still hungry, come back and eat more. You won't be. Change your environment. Turn off the TV. Turn off your phone. Sit at a table. Serve your food in the kitchen. Don't bring serving dishes to the table. When the plate is in front of you, that's your portion. The target here is a 10 to 15% reduction in calories, naturally, without tracking, without hunger. Tier 2 is for someone who's moderately active and eats out. You do everything in Tier 1, plus this. When you go to a restaurant, ask for an appetizer-sized portion as your main course. Or ask for a to-go box before you start eating. Put half the food in the box immediately. When you're eating with other people, explain Hara, Hachi, Tell them what you're doing. Social accountability works. Eat slower than everyone else at the table. Set the pace. After every meal, walk for 10 minutes. Once a day, practice standing up from the floor without using your hands. That's a longevity marker. If you can do it, your risk of death drops significantly. Tier 3 is the full Centenarian protocol. This is for someone who's committed to extreme longevity. You do everything in Tier 1 and Tier 2, plus this. Find your ikigai, your reason for being. Having a clear purpose reduces stress eating. Build a moai, a small social group with mutual health commitments. Eat 95% plant-based, low glycemic load, high antioxidant foods. Make breakfast or lunch your largest meal. Eat a small dinner. Don't eat anything after 6 p.m. Track your BMI monthly. Get annual blood work to check DHEA and inflammatory markers. Tier 3 is aspirational. Tiers 1 and 2 give you 80 to 90% of the benefits, with 20% of the effort. Now here's what happens inside your body when you do this consistently. Okinawans in their 70s have significantly higher levels of DHEA than Americans the same age. DHEA is dehydroepiandrosterone. It's a hormone produced by your adrenal glands. It's a precursor to testosterone and estrogen. It has anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective effects. In most people, DHEA drops 80% between age 30 and 70. But in Okinawans practicing caloric restriction, DHEA stays high. The Calorie study, that's comprehensive assessment of long-term effects of reducing intake of energy, was run by the NIH. They put people on 25% caloric restriction for 2 years. The results? Lower fasting insulin, lower core body temperature. Both of these are biomarkers of longevity in animals. Okinawans show the same pattern. Insulin sensitivity stays high into their 80s. Their body temperature runs slightly lower, which means more efficient metabolism and less oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is what ages you. When you eat, your body breaks down food into energy. That process creates metabolic byproducts, free radicals. Free radicals damage your cells. The more you eat, the more free radicals you produce. The less you eat, the less damage you accumulate. Bradley Wilcox's research team documented this in 2007. They wrote, "Survival patterns consistent with extended mean and maximum lifespan." That's scientific language for these people live longer. Let me bring this all together. Hara Hachi means eating until you're 80% full. You stop before you feel completely satisfied. You wait 15 to 20 minutes. Your brain catches up to your stomach. You feel full without overeating. The system has 3 tiers. Tier 1. Say Hara Hachi before every meal. Use a smaller plate. Eat for at least 20 minutes. Stop at 80%. Wait 15 minutes. Tier 2. Everything in Tier 1, plus restaurant strategies and social accountability. Tier 3. Everything in Tier 1 and 2, plus ikigai, moai, plant-based eating, and biomarker tracking. Here's the contrast. In the West, we eat until the plate is empty. We eat fast. We eat while distracted. We finish every bite because we were told that leaving food is wasteful. We've gained 25 to 40 pounds between age 30 and 75. 35% of us over 65 are obese. In Okinawa, they eat until they're 80% full. They eat slowly. They're mindful. They leave food on the plate because overeating is disrespectful to the body. They've stayed the same weight for 70 years. Obesity rates are 3%. Same species, same planet, different choices. Here's what I want you to do today. Tonight, at dinner, try this. Before you eat, say, Hara Hachi Bu. Eat slowly. Halfway through your meal, stop. Ask yourself, am I 80% full? If yes, stop eating. Wait 15 minutes. See what happens. That's it. One meal, one experiment. If you want the full 3-tier protocol, the exact steps, the timeline for what to expect in week 1, week 4, and week 12, I've put it in the description below. And if you want more systems like this, the kind of practices that people in the world's blue zones use to live to 100 without medication, without chronic disease, without losing their independence, subscribe to the Blue Zone Way. Leave a comment and tell me, how many days did it take before you felt the difference between 80% and 100% full? I want to know if you made it past day 3. That's when most people quit. But if you make it to day 5, you'll never go back. Eat less, live more. It's that simple.